everyone, so I'm back once again with another video this week, surprisingly, since I typically only upload once a week just because it's easier on me. But this weekend I'm making an exception because the Monster Hunter World Iceborne beta is back and is now available for everyone with a PS4. You do not need PS Plus to play this, so thankfully for everyone who doesn't have PS Plus can now play this for completely free. You don't need to pay anything, you just go on the PS Store and you download it, that's it, and you play. So what's different with this beta this time compared to last week is the fact that they have actually updated it and included a secret quest. I will talk more about the details later on, but with this secret quest you can now hunt Nargacuga, who is a returning monster to this game. So Nargacuga was first seen in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, I believe. It was the fleeting Nargacuga in that game, who's actually a red and white variant of Nargacuga. So whether you would call that the original or this black Nargacuga the original is up to you. I think it makes more sense for the white and red one to be the original, except I think that's the only game you see him in. So I think that's kind of weird that they kept him away and then just stuck with the black one as like the face of Nargacuga. So in this video, firstly I'm going to talk about how to actually unlock Nargacuga and tell you a bit about Nargacuga just so that you aren't in the dark when you fight him, just to help you out. I won't tell you everything, well yeah, I'll try not to tell you everything, but I'll just tell you a few things that could be helpful. And the second thing I'm going to be talking about is using the longsword and how you can use it to benefit your gameplay or make it better if you are using a longsword. I will also talk about some tips that will be universal for all weapons too, so you don't have to be using a longsword to use all of these tricks, I guess. So in order to unlock Nargacuga, you will have to keep doing the quest Great Devourer, Great Jagras. So you have to keep farming the Great Jagras until when you go into your quest board and you look at the quest description, the text should change to "We've received reports of another mysterious monster." Now if that prompt pops up, that means you have Nargacuga in your quest. If it doesn't, he's not in there. So you have to keep farming Great Jagras until you see this quest. Now if you do find Nargacuga, one thing you must not do is slay the Great Jagras. So once he's in your quest, go fight Nargacuga and then abandon your quest afterwards. Do not go fight the Great Jagras, because if you do, it will reset the quest and most likely the quest for Nargacuga would disappear and it would just turn back to the normal Great Jagras quest, unless you're lucky and it stays again. But I wouldn't risk it if I was you, just because of how small the drop is for this quest, and you don't want to spend hours trying to get it again once you had already got it and then went and killed Great Jagras. Do not do that. Don't kill Great Jagras and you'll be fine. At least for when you actually have Nargacuga. Otherwise, you can keep killing Great Jagras until you get it. So, when it comes to actually fighting Nargacuga, he's a quite vicious monster, to be honest. I would put him on par with Tigrex, except Tigrex is more like a rage, I'm gonna kill you kind of monster, and Nargacuga is more of like a sneaky type. He will sneak up on you, and bear in mind he is fast. He is fast too, but yeah, he's just more of like a stealthy kind of monster compared to Tigrex, and I don't know, I prefer Nargacuga over Tigrex any day. But he is difficult too, so don't go in like he's some easy monster that you will kill without any trouble. He's not like that. Do not lower your expectations for him, because you will be sorry. And most likely you can't if you do that, especially if you haven't fought him before, so be careful. So the type of damage he does is bleeding damage, so keep that in mind. You don't really want to keep constantly trying to fight him if you're not used to him, because you want to learn his attacks first and then try and work your way around to counter him. Bear in mind, when Nargacuga is in rage mode, his eyes will glow bright red and he'll have a trail of red lines following his movements, and he's obviously more aggressive and sort of faster. Then he'll jump around the map more, so if you're a close weapon user, prepared for a lot of running to try and chase him. So he is surprised by the sound of shock, so if you use psych bombs on him, if you use it at the right time, you can actually topple him over and he'll drop a shiny. That's what he did in the other games. I assume this will be the same. But bear in mind, if you do use a psych bomb on him, he will go straight into rage mode afterwards as soon as he's recovered. So if you don't want that, do not use a psych bomb. But if you don't mind, then use it. So he's weak to thunder and fire the most. I believe thunder slightly more, but you could use either. I would not use ice or water on him because they don't really do much. It's kind of pointless. Dragon is sort of like a middle element that you could use. It's not bad, but you could do more if you had a thunder or a fire weapon. Oh, and another thing, if you are fighting him, he usually spawns around areas 8 or 9 on the map, I believe. If you go to Camp 8 and come out of there, go to the right, he usually is in that area. And I think that's everything I'll tell you about Nargacuga, just because I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to tell you his attack patterns or anything like that. I just want you to figure it out for yourself and enjoy the experience of fighting him. So now I'm going to tell you some tips and tricks about fighting monsters in this game. As I said earlier, it will mainly be longsword focused, but some of the things you can use for any weapon. So for any weapon, the first thing I do is clutch onto his face and use the new attack to drop some singer ammo. Now, doing this, if you pick up the singer ammo and then use the clutch core again to go onto his face, and if you inject the singer ammo into him, this will happen. You'll topple him over because he'll hit a wall. You can only do this, or you can typically only do this if there is a wall nearby. I found that if you do it on Bamboro, he doesn't need a wall to topple over. I've done it a few times with him and he would just topple over anywhere, so I guess it's different for every monster, which I sort of expected. You'll see later on I try to do this again and there aren't any walls about, so he doesn't topple over. So I think with Great Jaguars the only way you can do that is if he's in an area like this where there are different things that he could like hit his head off of. So there are 2 new moves that you can use with a longsword that don't include the clutch claw moves. So if you press R2 and X, you'll do the special sheath. Now from this you can either press triangle or you can press R2. Now if you press triangle after doing this, as you can see, you'll do a slash. Now doing that will build up your spirit gauge. It will build up itself actually if you use that. Now the second one, if you press R2 and X again, then you press R2, you'll do a counter as you just saw. And it's so fun to land that. If you actually get the counter, it feels so satisfying. If you manage to actually land a counter using that, you won't use up a gauge of your spirit. But if you do use it without countering the monster, you will lose a bar of your spirit gauge. So say you were on red and you used it but you didn't counter him, you will go back to orange. But if you do counter and you're on red, you will stick with red. Also, if you are using these moves, only use the Spirit Slash, which is the R2 after pressing R2 and X. Do not use that until you have red spirit gauge, because you'll do the most damage, and it's sort of like the Helm Breaker. You wouldn't use that unless you had the red spirit gauge. So the other slash you can use anytime. It will build up your gauge much faster, as well as using the Clutch Claw on the monster. That will also actually gain you more spirit gauge faster. It will build up the bar faster. But the new move, the press triangle, that will build it up the quickest because it will fill it up automatically. So I think that's everything from me. I didn't give you too many tips or tricks, but I kind of wanted to keep them more Iceborne focused, and I didn't want to give you too many things that I would have thought you would already know, because I assume if you're playing Iceborne, you've already played Monster Hunter before, especially World, so you already know most of the tips, I guess. If you want any more, you can always just leave a comment and I'll reply to that. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful for you. Please let me know if it was, and I guess that's all from me, so I'll see you next time. Bye!